What do you do when a baseball traveling 95 miles per hour is aimed at your skull? Most people panic. Some freeze. Babe Ruth counted to 3. Philadelphia, July 8, 1923. A pitcher named Howard Ehmke is tired of being humiliated. Tired of being known as the guy who gives up home runs to Babe Ruth. So today he decides to send a message. Not with a strikeout, with violence. The pitch comes at Ruth's head. Ruth drops. The ball misses. Barely. Ehmke smiles. Thinks he won, but he has no idea what he just started, because Babe Ruth does not get mad. He gets even, and his version of even involves a baseball traveling 450 feet and a promise that will echo through baseball history. But let's rewind a little. Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, Shibe Park Clubhouse, July 8, 1923, Sunday morning, 1 p.m., 2 hours before first pitch. The Athletics clubhouse smells like stale sweat and desperation, not the good kind of desperation, the kind that comes from a team going nowhere. Philadelphia is in 6th place, 17 games, under 500. The season is lost, has been lost since May. Now they are just playing out the string, waiting for October, waiting for it to be over. Howard Ehmke sits in front of his locker, 29 years old, right-handed pitcher, 6'3", 190 pounds, lean, strong arm, should be in his prime, should be dominant. Instead, he is 7-12 with a 4.45 ERA. Terrible numbers, career-worst numbers, and there is one reason for those numbers, one name that haunts every start: Babe Ruth. In 3 starts against the Yankees this season, Ehmke has given up 8 home runs. 8, all to Ruth, every single one. No other player has hit a home run off Ehmke when facing the Yankees. Just Ruth. It is not bad luck. It is not coincidence. Ruth owns him completely. Totally, embarrassingly. The baseball press has noticed. Last week, a Philadelphia sports writer wrote, Howard Ehmke's pitching line should include a special category: home runs allowed to Babe Ruth. The article was meant to be funny. Ehmke did not laugh. His teammates did. He heard them, snickering in the locker room, passing the newspaper around. Nobody said anything to his face. But he knew. He is a joke, the butt of every Ruth story. Remember when Ruth hit 3 off Ehmke? Remember when Ruth hit that 460-footer off Ehmke? Always Ehmke, always the victim. Ehmke's teammate, Eddie Rommel, sits down next to him. You starting today? Ehmke nods. Does not look up. Against the Yankees? Yeah. Rommel hesitates. You know Ruth's hitting .398, right? 41 home runs already. It is only July. I know. Maybe pitch around him, give him nothing good to hit. Ehmke finally looks up. His eyes are cold, flat. I am not pitching around him. I am pitching to him. Ehmke, that is suicide. He is going to— I know what he is going to do, Ehmke interrupts. Or what he thinks he is going to do. Rommel studies him. Something in Ehmke's voice. Something wrong. What are you planning? Ehmke stands, grabs his glove. Just pitching, same as always. He walks out toward the field. Rommel watches him go. Does not believe him. Nobody who knows baseball would believe him, because when a pitcher says just pitching in that tone, it means something else entirely. It means violence. Shibe Park, 2:30 p.m., batting practice. The stadium is filling up, 25,000 fans expected, largest crowd of the season, not because of the Athletics, because of the Yankees, because of Babe Ruth. Ruth stands in the batting cage, taking practice swings, 28 years old, peak of his powers. This season will be his best. 393 average, 41 home runs so far, on pace for 50+, maybe 60. The pitching machine throws. Ruth swings. Contact. The ball rockets over the left field wall, 400 feet. Easy, effortless. Lou Gehrig, standing nearby, shakes his head. You make it look too easy. Ruth grins. It is easy. See ball, hit ball, hard. What about today? Ehmke's pitching. Ruth's grin widens. I know. I love facing Ehmke. You have hit 8 home runs off him this year. Has it been 8? I lost count. Ruth is lying. He has not lost count. He knows exactly how many. He knows every pitcher's numbers against him, keeps mental track. It is part of his edge. Know who fears you? Exploit that fear. Ehmke fears Ruth, and Ruth knows it. Think he will pitch to you today? Gehrig asks. Or pitch around you? Ruth spits on the ground. He will pitch to me. His pride will not let him do anything else, and when he does, I am going to take him deep, again. Across the field, in the Athletics bullpen, Howard Ehmke warms up. His catcher, Cy Perkins, crouches behind the plate. Ehmke throws. Fastball, high, inside. Perkins does not catch it cleanly, has to reach for it. Controls off today, Perkins says. Ehmke says nothing, throws again. Fastball, even higher, even more inside. Perkins stands up, walks to the mound, keeps his voice low so nobody else can hear. Howard, what are you doing? Warming up. You are throwing at the backstop, way inside. Ehmke looks at him, that same flat expression. Just making sure my inside pitch is working. Perkins stares at him, understands immediately. You are going to throw at Ruth. I am going to pitch inside. There is a difference. Howard, if you hit him... I am not going to hit him, Ehmke says. His voice is calm, too calm. I am just going to remind him that the inside of the plate belongs to me. That is all. Perkins does not believe him, but what can he do? He is a catcher, not a manager, not a cop. He walks back behind the plate. Ehmke throws again, inside, always inside, getting closer to where a batter's head would be. Game time, 3 p.m., national anthem, flags waving, crowd on their feet. The energy in Shibe Park is electric. Sunny day. Perfect weather. Perfect conditions for baseball. Perfect conditions for what is about to happen. First inning. Yankees batting. Leadoff hitter singles. Second batter grounds into a double play. 2 outs. Then Babe Ruth steps to the plate. The crowd reaction is instant. Half cheer, half boo. Ruth is box office. Even when you hate him, you cannot look away. Ehmke stands on the mound, ball in his glove, staring at Ruth. Ruth stares back, no smile. All business. This is the at-bat that matters. Every at-bat against Ehmke matters. Ehmke winds up, throws, fastball, middle in. Ruth swings, foul ball, strike 1. Ehmke gets the ball back, winds up again. Curveball, outside corner. Ruth watches it. Ball 1, third pitch. Fastball, middle of the plate, mistake pitch. Ruth swings. Contact. The sound echoes through the stadium. The ball rockets off Ruth's bat, climbing higher, deeper, over the left field wall, 420 feet, home run. Ruth rounds the bases slowly. No showboating, just business. As he passes the mound, he glances at Ehmke. Does not say anything. Does not need to. Ehmke watches him, his jaw clenched, hands gripping the ball so tight his knuckles are white. That is home run number 9 off Ehmke this season. The humiliation continues. 5th inning. Ruth comes to bat again. 2 men on base, Yankees already leading 4-1. This game is slipping away from Philadelphia. Ehmke has given up 4 runs, all earned, his ERA climbing with every pitch. The Athletics coaching staff is discussing pulling him, giving him the rest of the day off, saving the bullpen, but manager Connie Mack decides to leave him in. Let him work through it, Mack says. Bad decision. Ruth steps into the batter's box. Same routine, digs in with his back foot, taps the plate with his bat, stares at Ehmke. Ehmke stares back, but this time something is different. Ehmke's expression has changed, not frustrated anymore, resolved, decided. He has made a choice. Ehmke winds up, throws, fastball, not at the plate, at Ruth. The ball travels 95 miles per hour, headed directly for Ruth's skull. No question about intent, no accident, pure deliberate violence. Ruth sees it, has maybe half a second to react. He drops, falls backward, his bat flying, his body hitting the dirt hard. The ball passes through the space where his head was 1 second ago, misses by 3 inches, maybe less. The crack of the ball hitting the catcher's mitt echoes through the suddenly silent stadium. 25,000 people frozen, shocked. Did that just happen? Did Ehmke just throw at Ruth's head? Ruth lies in the dirt, not moving. For 2 seconds, 3 seconds, nobody knows if he is hurt, if he is unconscious, if he is dead. Then Ruth moves, slowly, gets to his hands and knees, spits out dirt, stands up. The crowd exhales, relief, anger, confusion. The home plate umpire, Bill Dineen, immediately steps in front of Ehmke, points at him. "That was intentional." Ehmke shrugs, says nothing. Yankees players rush out of the dugout. Lou Gehrig is first, grabs Ruth's arm. "You okay? You hurt?" Ruth shakes his head, dusts off his uniform. "I am fine. He tried to kill you. I know." Ruth's voice is calm, eerily calm. "Babe, you should charge the mound. You should—" Ruth holds up a hand, stops Gehrig mid-sentence. "No." "What?" "I am not charging. I am not yelling. I am doing something better." Ruth looks at Ehmke, 45 feet away, standing on the mound, and Ehmke is smiling, like he won, like throwing at Ruth's head was a victory. Ruth walks toward first base, slowly. The umpire awards him the base, hit by pitch, except the pitch did not hit him, but the intent was clear, close enough. Ruth stands on first base, does not look at Ehmke, does not acknowledge him, just stands there, breathing, thinking, calculating. The next batter flies out. Inning over. Ruth jogs back to the Yankees' dugout. His teammates surround him. "You should have charged him. You should report him to the league. That was attempted murder." Ruth ignores all of them, sits down on the bench, grabs a towel, wipes his face. Yankees manager Miller Huggins sits next to him. "Talk to me, Babe. What are you thinking?" Ruth looks at him. That same calm, that same control. "I am thinking Ehmke made a big mistake." "Damn right he did. I am filing a complaint with—" "No," Ruth interrupts. "No complaints, no reports. I am going to handle this myself." "How?" Ruth smiles. Not the friendly Ruth smile. Something colder, harder. "You will see. Next time I bat—" Huggins studies him, decides not to push. When Ruth has that look, you let him do what he is going to do. Before we continue with what might be the most legendary at-bat in baseball history, do us a favor and hit that subscribe button. This kind of deep sports history takes serious research. And drop a like if you're as shocked as we were. Now drop a comment. Where are you watching from? And here's the real question. If someone threw a 95 fastball at your head, would you charge the mound or get revenge like Ruth? Let us know below. 8th inning. Ruth comes to bat again. The crowd is on edge. Everyone remembers the 5th inning. Everyone saw the beanball. Everyone is wondering, what will Ruth do? Ehmke is still pitching. Connie Mack left him in, maybe as punishment, maybe because the bullpen is exhausted, maybe because he wants to see what happens. Ruth walks to the batter's box. Same routine, digs in, taps the plate. But this time he does something different. Before getting into his stance, Ruth steps out of the box, looks directly at Ehmke, points his bat at him. Not at the mound, at Ehmke, directly at him. Then Ruth shifts his bat, points it at center field, 420 feet away, the deepest part of the park, the hardest place to hit a home run. He is calling his shot, telling Ehmke exactly what he is going to do. The crowd sees it, goes insane, half cheering, half booing, all of them understanding what is happening. This is not just baseball anymore. This is personal. This is revenge. Ehmke sees it too, sees Ruth pointing, and Ehmke laughs, loud enough for Ruth to hear. "You think you are going to hit me?" Ehmke shouts. "You could not hit me if I grooved one down the middle." Ruth does not respond, just steps back into the box, gets into his stance, waits. Ehmke winds up, throws, fastball, inside, not at Ruth's head this time, but close, brush-back pitch, intimidation. Ruth does not flinch, watches it pass. Ball 1. Ehmke gets the ball back, winds up again, curveball, outside corner, perfect pitch. Ruth watches it. Ball 2. The crowd murmurs, "Is Ruth going to swing, or is he going to take pitches?" Make Ehmke work? Third pitch, fastball, middle in, decent pitch. Most batters would struggle. Ruth swings, foul ball. The crowd gasps. Ruth just missed. The ball was traveling. If he had made better contact, it would have been gone. Ehmke smiles again. Thinks he has Ruth figured out. Thinks Ruth is pressing, trying too hard. Fourth pitch, another curveball, low and away, tough pitch. Ruth does not bite. Ball 3, 3 balls, 1 strike. Hitters count. Ehmke has to throw a strike now, cannot walk Ruth, cannot give him first base for free. Ehmke steps off the rubber, wipes his forehead, breathing hard. The pressure is getting to him. Everyone in the stadium knows what is coming. Ruth is going to get a pitch to hit, and if he connects, it is over. Ehmke gets back on the rubber, looks at his catcher for the sign. Fastball. Middle of the plate. Cy Perkins sets up right down the middle, challenging Ruth, daring him. Ehmke winds up, throws. The pitch is exactly where it is supposed to be, belt high, middle of the zone, maybe 92 miles per hour. Good velocity, but not great location. Hitters pitch. Ruth swings. The moment the bat makes contact, everyone knows. The sound is different. Not a crack, a detonation. The ball explodes off Ruth's bat. Launched. The trajectory is perfect, rising, climbing, headed exactly where Ruth pointed. Center field. The center fielder does not even move, just turns and watches, knowing it is over his head, knowing it is gone. The ball keeps climbing. 400 feet, 420 feet, 440 feet. Still rising. It clears the center field wall by 20 feet. Lands in the bleachers, 450 feet. One of the longest home runs ever hit at Shibe Park. The crowd goes insane. Even athletics fans are on their feet. You cannot help but appreciate greatness, even when it is destroying your team. Ruth does not celebrate, does not showboat, just drops his bat, starts his home run trot, slow, methodical. As he rounds first base, he looks at Ehmke, still standing on the mound, frozen, humiliated. Ruth does not say anything, just makes eye contact. That is enough. As Ruth rounds second base, he passes close to the mound, close enough that Ehmke can hear him. Ruth speaks. 5 words, quiet, just for Ehmke. "Do not ever do that again." Ruth continues to third base, home plate. His teammates mob him, celebrating. But Ruth is not smiling, not celebrating. This was not about joy. This was about a message. You try to hurt me, I hurt you worse. Not physically. Where it matters more. Your pride. Your career, your legacy. Howard Ehmke stands on the mound, alone. Everyone has stopped paying attention to him. All eyes on Ruth. Ehmke is invisible, irrelevant, exactly what he feared most. The game ends. Yankees win 9-2. Ruth goes 2 for 3. 2 home runs, 5 RBIs. Routine day for him. Career-ending day for Ehmke. After the game, reporters swarm Ruth in the clubhouse. "Babe, Ehmke threw at your head in the 5th inning. What happened?" Ruth shrugs. "Pitch got away from him. Happens. It looked intentional." "Maybe, but I am not interested in talking about it." "What about your home run in the 8th? You pointed to center field before the pitch." Ruth smiles, that cold smile. "Did I? I do not remember." "Come on, babe. Everyone saw it. You called your shot." "If I called it, then I guess I delivered, didn't I?" The reporters laugh. "Write their stories. Ruth calls home run after beanball. Babe's revenge, 450-foot message." The story spreads. By the next day, every newspaper in America is running it. Babe Ruth, nearly killed by a pitch, responds by calling a home run and delivering. Baseball legend. But here is what nobody writes about. The consequences. Howard Ehmke pitches 3 more games that season, gives up 14 runs. His ERA balloons to 5.03, the worst of his career. After the season, the Athletics release him. His career is over. He bounces around minor leagues for 2 years, never makes it back to the majors, dies in 1959, forgotten. His obituary mentions he pitched against Babe Ruth. That is it. That is his legacy, the guy who threw at Ruth and paid the price. But the bigger consequence is what happens to baseball. After July 8, 1923, the baseball world starts talking seriously about beanball rules, about protecting hitters, about punishing pitchers who throw at heads. It takes years, decades, but eventually, rules change. Throw at a batter's head intentionally, and you are ejected, automatic, suspended, fined. Players call it the Ruth Rule informally. League never officially names it that, but everyone knows. The rule exists because of what Ehmke did, and because of how Ruth responded, not with violence, with excellence, showing that the best revenge is not fighting, it is winning. Winning so completely that your opponent is erased. That is what Ruth did. That is why he is a legend, not because he hit home runs, because he understood something deeper. Power is not just physical, it is psychological. Ehmke tried to intimidate Ruth with violence. Ruth responded by making Ehmke irrelevant, by hitting a home run so far, so perfectly placed, that everyone forgot Ehmke even existed. That is mastery. That is control. That is Babe Ruth. Babe Ruth is dying. Throat cancer, hospital room in New York. A reporter asks him about his greatest moments. Ruth mentions several games, several home runs. The reporter asks, "What about the time you called your shot against the Cubs in the 1932 World Series?" Ruth smiles weakly. "Everyone remembers that one, but that was not the first time." "What do you mean?" 1923, Philadelphia. Guy named Ehmke threw at my head. I pointed to center field next time up. Hit it exactly where I pointed, 450 feet. Nobody remembers that one, but I do. That was the real called shot. Why did you do it? Ruth thinks. Because I wanted him to know. You cannot intimidate me. You cannot scare me. All you can do is make me better. And when I am better, you disappear. 2 months later, Ruth died. His legacy secure. The greatest player who ever lived. The man who changed baseball. Not just with his bat. With his mind. With his understanding that real power is not destruction. It is domination. It is making your enemies irrelevant. Howard Ehmke tried to end Babe Ruth's career with a 95 mm fastball to the head. Instead, Ruth ended Ehmke's career with a 450-foot home run to center field, and that is the difference between violence and greatness. Violence is temporary. Greatness is forever.